The government rarely indicts one of its own spies for leaking classified material because during the process of the prosecution, frequently more secrets are revealed than were revealed by the defendant. The Bush Department of Justice learned a hard lesson on this in the AIPAC lobbyist case, in which it voluntarily dismissed its own indictments against alleged Israeli spies rather than risk revealing too much classified data during the prosecution. In the present case, the defendant allegedly revealed not who was spied upon or the manner of spying, but the enormous cost overruns and inefficiency of the act of spying. The Bush administration gave President Bush authority to authorize himself and his successors to classify as secret anything President Bush chose, and he did. But that contradicts whistleblower statutes that encourage government employees to reveal waste and reveal fraud, and those statutes protect them when they do so. So indicting a spy at the NSA, which the Obama administration just did, is a risky proposition. The Bush Justice Department declined to open up this can of worms with this defendant. Joining me now is retired U.S. Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski, who's written on defense issues with a libertarian perspective for MilitaryWeek.com and LewRockwell.com. Colonel Kwiatkowski, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Well, thanks for having me.
Didn't he do a positive service, this particular guy, Drake, who the government indicted last week, by revealing not that the spying was going on, we knew it was going on, not who was being spied upon, we still don't know, not the means by doing it, we can guess the means, but the wastage of time and money and resource, and the fact that people who were doing it are not authorized to do it by law. Shouldn't we have a right to know that?
Well, we should, and you know, it's not clear. This Drake, Mr. Drake, hasn't really spoken, I guess, and may not speak publicly, but, you know, did he have other alternatives to reveal the fraud, waste, and abuse that he was reporting? It's hard to say, but he clearly is a whistleblower, and it looks like he's doing it as a patriotic whistleblower. I mean, he wants to have the system work better. But for some reason, I guess Obama's administration has decided that they want to prosecute this.
I wonder if the prosecution, and I'm going to sound a little naive when I say this, Karen, I wonder if the prosecution is politically motivated, because they know like almost everything government does, they know the risk of prosecuting someone like this in an open public courtroom where the media will be there, where jurors will be there, of exposing other so-called secrets that they may not want to expose. This is why they typically don't prosecute somebody like this. Why do you think they're willing to run that risk?
Well, I'm not sure that this will continue on that pathway. It seems to me, though, that part of who they're trying to send a message to is other NSA whistleblowers and also reporters who have contacts within the system who are writing on this stuff. Because the reporter that supposedly worked with Gorman, I guess her name is, who worked with this particular guy and revealed the waste and abuse and that kind of thing, she's also, he or she, whoever it is covering the Keith Alexander hearings right now because, you know, he's getting ready to be the Cybercom commander, and he's currently the NSA commander. He'll be dual-hatted once he's confirmed. That's going on right now this week, and some of the hard questions that are being asked of this guy is, what makes Americans confident that NSA can do additional work when what they've been doing is you know, wrought with fraud, waste, and abuse, inefficiencies, overruns, etc. So it's very possible that this is not intended to be proceeded on with, but is merely timed to cause, you know, fewer questions to be asked as we consider this great increase in the government's oversight, particularly of our networks domestically.
You know, reporters are protected. You and I, as commentators, are protected. If someone gives us information that the public would want to know about, even if that person stole the information, by revealing it, as long as it's a legitimate matter of public interest, and certainly the government spying on people without search warrants would be a legitimate matter of public interest, reporters are protected. But reporters can be intimidated, as you suggest, by dragging them in the midst of a public controversy where the person with whom they worked is now exposed to over 100 years in jail and over $2.5 million in fines because he probably went to his superiors and said, you're doing this wrong, you're breaking the law, you're wasting money, and they told him to go take a hike, and so he decides to reveal it to a reporter.
Yeah, I think part of what this must be about, given the timing and given that it's the Obama administration that's doing it. You know, Obama's growing government in so many ways, and I think there's been less attention than should have been on some of this cyber command and computer network security stuff that he's doing. This is a huge, growth in Department of Homeland Security. It's a growth in the DoD. You know, questions need to be asked, and they need to be answered, and the people with the answers have just been intimidated.
We're going to put up on the screen Siobhan Gorman, who I think now works for the Wall Street Journal, but was working for the Baltimore Sun at the time. The Wall Street Journal is owned by the same parent corporation that owns Fox, on whose internet we're talking right now. But she performed equally as courageous and patriotic a service as did the person who gave her this information. Question: why is the government trying to intimidate people that do the right thing? Well,
they're telling the truth about government. Government is very subject to waste, to fraud, to certainly cost overruns. Government is growing. The American people are dissatisfied with government. They're looking for stories like this. And if they can't tell the reporters, and certainly Fox News is no friend, they're out to tell the truth about this growth of government. So, if you can't shut up the reporters, maybe you can turn off the spigot inside the system. And I think this is what this is about, because certainly it in the long run, it can't be in the Obama administration's interest to prosecute this guy. He didn't really do anything very bad at all. I mean, he didn't reveal any secrets. They say, oh, there's some classified information. Well, it's not clear that would hold up in court. If the AIPAC case didn't hold up, certainly this one would not.
The problem, I think, is with the statute that authorizes the president, and this is a Bush-era statute, but obviously President Obama enjoys this as well.
He enjoys it, yes.
Right, to declare almost anything classified, whether it is the revelation of it will cause harm or not. In the first year of law school, in the first month of the first year, law students are taught that crime is harm. So if there is no harm, what was the crime? It may be frustration on the part of government bureaucrats that they were exposed as the wasteful spendthrifts we have all believed them to be. How can that be harm?
I don't know. When you put it that way, I really don't know. But yes, I mean, government protects itself first and foremost, and we've seen that repeatedly throughout, many administrations. So the government is protecting itself, and I think it is feeling vulnerable. Americans are getting wise to how government operates, how the politicians operate. It's grow. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. The party in power expands government.
You're right.
So,
you're right. And it doesn't matter who the party is or even what the genetic inclinations of the president may be.
Yes.
Our mutual friend Lou Rockwell has argued we don't have a two-party system. We have a one-party system. It's called the big government party. They will prosecute and persecute anybody that frustrates them, no matter how noble that person may be. We saw it in the Bush administration. We see it with the Obama administration again. Colonel Kwiatkowski, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on Freedom Watch.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You can catch today's show on foxnews.com/freedomwatch and on Sirius 145 XM 168 or online at foxnewstalk.com at 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. From New York, defending freedom. Until the next time, stay free, America.